Hello, listeners. Lauren here. It's definitely been a minute. How we doing? I'm sure, like me, you're all eagerly waiting for the next campaign to start up, but like we said in our campaign wrap-up, it's likely going to be a few months until we are back. So, as a treat for you all, we thought we'd release one of our first NPC bonus episodes from our Patreon to hold you over. This episode is about one of my favorite NPCs, the magnificent Lincoln Ramsey. And while our Patreon content is currently on pause, we thought we'd give you guys a little sample of what sort of content you can get over there so that once things resume, you can go and check out some more content. But for now, all there is to do is simply sit back and relax and enjoy this NPC bonus episode, The Painted Crow.
The Monsters Playbook is an adventure podcast for grown-ups. It contains violence and profanity and deals with adult themes that may be uncomfortable for some listeners. Specific content warnings can be found on the episode show notes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Monsters Playbook, a real play Monster of the Week podcast that is at least partially under your direct control. Thank you to all of our patrons, and by way of saying thanks, here is another exclusive episode, this time focusing on your choice of NPC, everyone's favorite supernatural shopkeeper, Lincoln Ramsey Lincoln. Something bad is headed towards the Clockwork Child, or to be more accurate, something bad has already come to the Clockwork Child, come and gone.
I'm John, and I play Mark Clayton.
I'm Lauren, and I play Kira and Anna Ashwood.
I'm Maya, and I play Theo Nessos.
I'm Jonny, I play literally everybody else, so all aboard to Bonus Town. So I think because of the nature of this as a one-shot, unless you guys are really aching to do it, I don't want to do premonitions and all that kind of stuff because we're not keeping track of experience so much anymore because of reasons.
That's fair.
What about things like the stars align, where I can have an item when I need it, evade an attack, +1 going forward, stay below wound.
Oh, those things are like woman with a plan. We can do.
Well, I'm only playing as Anna this session, so the only thing she has, I think that's a pre-mystery, is her premonition. So I don't have to worry about that.
Well, do any of you have Boss from Beyond anymore?
Oh wait, Mark does though, as the divine.
Oh, that's right, Ro.
Yes.
I do want you to roll that, Mark. Roll Boss from Beyond. Roll plus weird.
So, Jonny, for Stars Online for Theo, I rolled a 6, which means that something bad will happen to me in the course of the mystery.
And I rolled a 9.
Mark, you're going to get an assignment that doesn't make a lot of sense to you just yet. 2 things. The vulture must stay dead, and I want you to recover her helmet.
10-4, good buddy.
Perfect. So, Anna, at this point, you're going to head in to work. You're opening today. But I think what's odd is you kind of come in through the front and start turning on all the lights. And usually, Ramsey Lincoln is just here anyway. But this time, you're sort of going through all the moves of opening the store, getting everything set and getting ready. And it's that kind of calmingly quiet that early mornings sort of are at work, which is new. You don't usually have this kind of autonomy and aloneness to open the Clockwork Child.
Yeah, I think Inako maybe hops up onto her shoulders, and Anna just kind of gives him some scritches. It's really quiet in here today. Oh my god, I need coffee. Actually might set about making herself a cup of coffee.
Okay. It pleases me to do this. Roll act under pressure. How good are you at making coffee?
Anna does anything. Roll act under pressure to be a human. That's 8 plus 3, 11.
Okay. There's definitely a Mr. Coffee back here, and there's also definitely a French press You're using the French press, and you get it kind of going. So,
Have you seen Lincoln Ramsey around, Inico?
he sort of like scratches his face with his paw and he says, I have not seen with eyes, but I can see with nose.
Are they here?
Not here. Out. And he like cocks his head towards the back door.
Okay. Anna just like does a double take, make sure nobody's at the store, and we'll go quick walk to the back door or whatever to see if she can spot where maybe Lincoln is.
I may stay inside. She smells angry.
Oh, it's Ramsey? Okay. All right, buddy. You be a good boy, okay? If anybody comes in, bark. Yeah.
I want his little fox paw to come up and give you a salute.
Oh, cute. I'm gonna go out and see if I can find Ramsey.
You go out the back, and as you walk out into the rear parking lot, you can see her just staring at the wall of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Her toe is tapping pretty frantically, and she's chewing on her thumb, just staring at the wall.
Morning, boss. Something interesting about that wall?
I think she doesn't even look at you.
Hello? Like, just like fully in her like line of sight. Hello? Anyone there?
Roll manipulate someone.
Lights on, anyone home? 9.
Ramsey will just sort of blink at you as though seeing you for the very first time in this exact instant, and will look at you, look back at the wall, put both hands on both your shoulders, and bodily spin you around to face the wall.
Why am I looking at this wall? Is this part of my training?
Here's exactly what you see. And I'm going to give you no judgment, because Ramsey still is not speaking.
Yeah.
But you can see this is the area of the wall where the mural of Skaal is, but it isn't. There is a sort of thin, wispy trail of blue flame on the edges of a kind of absent silhouette in the face, in the shape of the painted crow. Skaal is supposed to be here, but he's gone.
Is he like on a finding mission or something? Where's Skaal?
Not for me.
Do you like rent him out or something? Does he do jobs like for free? Is he like a contractor?
Nope.
Oh, what, do you know what happened?
That's what I'm trying to put together.
Do we have to kick somebody's ass?
That is exceedingly likely.
Okay, I'm in. Who are we fucking up?
I have no idea.
So what do you do when the person who finds things goes missing?
Something that you hoped you'd never have to do again. I have to call my old boss.
Oh my god, you have a boss?
No, I don't.
You had a boss?
I guess you'd say mentor, but that seems too nice.
Too charitable.
4 syllables. This early. Congratulations, Ashwood.
I'm almost completely done with my coffee. Okay, so we gotta fuck up your old mentor, maybe. Or, well, are they the person who stole it, you think? Or are they might know where he went?
Ordinarily, if I had somebody missing, she gestures to the wall. But in order to find Skaal, I know he still has... She winces when she says this. Trackers. He keeps tabs on us. And finally, she turns to you. She says, it's gonna pay off. I think she kind of looks back at the wall and her toes tapping a little bit more. And she's like, I'm gonna need you to bring your friends along for this one.
Oh, okay. I can call Mark and Theo. Kira's kind of been weird since we got back from there.
Yeah, sure. It's not big. We don't need an army. It's just I'd rather not. It's been a while since I've seen him.
Yeah, I'll call up the gang. There's a pot of coffee inside with a mug with your name on it if you want some.
Mr. Coffee or the French press?
The French press.
She gives a very curt nod and confidently walks inside.
Yeah, I'll get a cup for Ramsey, and then I'll call up Theo and Mark. Maybe do like a group message to Theo and Mark.
Oh boy, group chats.
Right? And be like, hey, you guys don't have anything going on today, right? Because I think I might need your help with something with the boss.
Theo responds with, weren't we supposed to have a study date today?
That might be a little postponed.
Who's boss?
My boss, Ramsey Lincoln. Our bird is missing. As a bird owner, I think you might understand.
You see in all caps back to you, what? Exclamation point, question mark.
Now we're going to flip things around here, and I'm going to give you ideas here, John, because my assumption is that would have you teleporting to the Clockwork Child
Instantly.
immediately. A bird's in trouble? Where?
The first thing that happens is I glance a look over at Lariat and then back to my phone. All right. Then I teleport back. What's going on?
Oh, hi.
I heard you had a bird missing?
Yeah, I remember that big crow Skaal that we had that helped us track down Kira that one time, and then most recently Gad. He's missing, and he's like our tracker, so it's kind of like, how do you find this tracker that's missing? And Ramsey said that they think that they might need some help.
Do you want me to try to tune into him?
You could try. I don't know how easy it'll be if he'll be defined, but yeah, please try.
You get a message from Theo that says, I'll be there in like 30 to 45 minutes.
Mark is instantly there. Rolling tune in. I got a 7.
Okay. You can ask precisely one question.
I think I'd want to know location. That is the biggest thing in my book at the moment.
That's a complicated question. He's in a couple of different places at the same time. As you sort of reach out and try to connect to him, it is like the signal is bad. And it's like the sort of GPS pin in your mind keeps kind of bouncing around on this side. It's slightly clearer elsewhere. He is in what they call the depths of the sky. At least part of him is there.
Am I familiar with the depths of the sky?
I want you to roll plus sharp. That's a question we can answer together, Mark Clayton.
I got a 6.
Oh no.
That actually works very well, I think. Some combination of the fact that you lost your memory of your previous life in the sky, and the combination of where you've spent your time looking and knowing about the sky. You know it's a network of islands. Those islands are above something. That's the depths. You don't have any further information.
Okay. Below the floating islands is basically what I know. Okay.
Yeah, that there's sort of, if you would have looked down, there would have just been kind of a sea of clouds underneath that, but you don't know what's down there.
Okay. I'm getting a hard read on him. I think he's in the depths of the sky.
The depths of the sky? What the hell does that mean?
I honestly don't have a good description of it because I've never really been there, but it's below the floating islands in the Sky Kingdom.
Oh, in the Sky Kingdom? Oh, fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard rumors, but I mean, nothing that'll help us.
I mean, maybe Ro would know more?
I'm sure Ro would know more.
Maybe Lowry would know.
Oh, yeah, fuck. Hey, Lowry!
Brother!
Huh. You hear like a grunt as though he's waking up inside your head.
Oh, sorry. Got a little bit of a conundrum, but it might be just your expertise that we could need here. You remember Skaal, that big crow bird thing?
The painted bird?
Yep. He's missing. Mark did his little tune-in thing and thinks that he's in the depths of the Sky Kingdom or something. Do you know anything about that? Below the floating islands or something?
Okay, how to explain this? Lowry takes a moment. He's like, so you know that that there is sort of a realm between life and death, right?
Yeah. It's like a purgatory, sort of.
The depths is kind of where it's where you go when you're more dead than alive. Sometimes the dead get to there and find new life in the kingdoms. Sometimes they just have to die, and then you go to the depths. If your friend is there, someone might be super killing him.
Oh.
Or worse.
Well, I mean, at least I got a read on him. So, I mean, he still exists.
Okay, so how do we get there?
I mean, I could probably take us there. But we probably want to talk to Ro before we go.
It would be extremely dangerous to go straight there.
Well, maybe Ro knows a way to get there safely.
I think a voice from the other side of the break room is going to be like, not a single thing about this is going to be safe. And back into the sort of sales floor will walk Lincoln Ramsey, who has changed his clothes.
So it's now Lincoln.
What's he wearing, Jake from State Farm?
He's now Lincoln Ramsey, and he is wearing a very plain button-down shirt with the sleeves buttoned at the wrist.
I think Anna's face looks like mine.
He's clearly combed his hair.
You look normal.
What did you do with my boss? What's this?
Here, he stands before you. What are you talking about? I can clean up.
Okay. Do I need to look nice? Is this because of your old boss?
Kind of.
No.
Buddy.
I just don't want... This is going to be hard enough. I don't want to make it easy for him to make it difficult.
I think Mark walks up and gives him a fist bump. You got this.
I want you to roll manipulate someone.
A soothing fist
Oh,
bump?
I like that. That makes sense.
I like that a lot, actually. Let's do
that makes a
soothing
lot more
fist
sense.
bump.
Do roll it for fun.
11.
Nice. I think without even really thinking, when you put up your fist, Lincoln will sort of pound it and then sort of look at you. I don't want to say definitely surprised, but like this is sort of someone who you're not very close to, who's kind of going to look at you and be like, you know what? Thanks, Clayton.
And I think Mark inside just kind of internalizes it because he went out on a limb to like do a fist bump because that's totally not Mark.
Mhm.
It's like, I saw somebody do this once. and he just smiles. He's like, I did a thing.
Did you contact your old boss? What's their name, by the way?
Simon.
Simon. He sounds like a dick. Is he a dick?
Oh, yeah. Simon Harrington.
What's Simon's deal?
I'll tell you on the way. At this point, I think it makes sense for either some more preparation to be happening, and that's when Theo shows up, or Theo just shows up. Theo, I do want to point out to you that when you pull up, there is a, like, hanging from a string on the inside of the door that you can see through the window of the door is a pre-printed metal sign that says, "Shit's going down, we're closed."
They'll walk in. So some shit is going down. I'm guessing that's not studying.
No, Skaal, the bird, is missing in the depths of the sky kingdom, which is bad, I guess. And we have to get him back. But Lincoln's old mentor might be able to help.
He is an old mentor?
Yeah, Simon. Apparently he's a dick. We're going to get the deets and like on the way. Let's happen.
Before we go, excuse me, Lincoln, Ramsey, do you have anything that like belonged to Skaal? Like maybe a feather or something? Can maybe help out with?
That's a good question.
Or maybe there's like a cutting even from like the frame of like the thing that he normally is in or something.
Yeah, I think I can give you a couple of things. One would obviously be that you could go out and like scrape off some of the paint from the other part of the mural.
Yeah.
The other thing would be, yeah. So you know the little like, there's a jingly bell that he especially likes.
Okay.
He's a crow.
Yeah.
That like Lincoln has sort of stashed it away but oh, this is so lovely. So Lincoln's gonna be like, yeah, okay. And he'll bring you to a sort of armoire. He'll open up the armoire and push aside a bunch of coats and then pop out this false back of the thing and then take out a box, enter a combination, clack it open, and then something inside will need to also be twisted open, out of which he will pull this little jingly ball.
And you have this under lock and key because...
Otherwise, he gets it.
And he won't shut up about it when he gets it.
Do you have any idea what it's like when a giant crow that can fly anywhere starts wiggling around a jingle bell?
No.
And Mark overly loudly says, oh, yeah.
It's a bird thing.
Lincoln just gestures at Mark like, yeah, this guy gets it.
Well, do you mind if I borrow it? And like, just saying there's like maybe like a 25 or 50% chance that you won't get it back.
Can you promise me that? No, any advantage will help.
Do you mind if I take a scraping of your mural?
Interesting thought. Absolutely. You don't know where it comes from, but he like a butterfly knife. And he's like, will this do?
Oh, Thea pulls out her own from her belt of things. No, I'm okay. I got one my own.
He clinks your blade against his like a cheers.
Thea will get a scraping of the mural as well.
Okay.
So how are we getting there? Or wherever we're going?
Lincoln clicks a button and then of the van. I want to also make sure that I understand, is the important questions. Is everybody cool with just straight up driving together? You'll all get in the Clockwork Child van. You can leave your Robin's Egg Blue moped behind.
Oh, can I wheel it into the shop?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I'll wheel it into the shop.
I mean, this shop's closed. You can put it among the records if you want.
I just want it, safe and inconspicuous.
Sure.
Mark calls shotgun.
I want to sit in the back seat with Mark, next to Mark.
Oh.
We have to discuss sitting arrangements.
Mark was just saying that he wanted to call shotgun.
I was just saying call shotgun.
Oh, well, fine.
No, I think Anna's like, I want to sit shotgun. I need to hear about this.
Rock,
And
paper,
then I
scissors.
turn and see
Rock,
Theo,
paper, scissors.
and then I'm like, are you going for shotgun now?
Me? Yes.
No, not you, Theo.
No, I'm saying you and Anna. If you're both wanting shotgun, you have to rock, paper, scissors it.
No, I just said I was going to sit with you, but then you were like, I'm going to try to call shotgun.
I'm taking shotgun. Anna goes and sits down.
After you, I gestured at Theo.
Come on, Nicole.
Lincoln, who is already sitting in the driver's seat, mouths "thank you" to Anna, and then rolls his eyes, starts the car.
Can you tell us about the car?
Is it the same one that we used to move stuff into Mark's house?
Yeah, it has been a while since we've seen or talked about this van. So the exterior of the van, as I recall, has a definitely hand-painted giant version of the logo of the Clockwork Child, a sort of baby doll head with a cog for one of its eyes. And then all the information on the exterior, the sort of base color of it is, if not black, then a very, 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 very dark blue. Inside, it's unpretentious. It's very Spartan, I would say. I think a lot of it's not one of those things that has like a bunch of rugs and such. All of the surfaces are that sort of rain-proof flat rubber, if not outright metal. The rear of it is open. So you've got your driver's seat, passenger seat, the 2 bucket seats, and then beyond that is just all for storage. And right now it's completely empty except for hastily packed rifles and cutlasses and revolvers. I think there's a big unzipped duffel bag in the back that you can just see glinting out fucking pirate weapons.
I think Mark reaches in and tries to grab one and pick it up. Ooh.
Which one?
The shiniest one.
The shiniest thing in there is going to be a cutlass that will have oh, you know what? The handle. You recognize this immediately, Mark, because you are a stone aficionado. The hilt of this sword is constructed entirely out of hematite. So it looks like a kind of mirror that doesn't exactly reflect anything back.
Hematite is really grounding.
Isn't it just?
Whoa.
I knew that.
I don't think I should be holding this.
Especially in a moving car.
He hits a few bumps and he kind of jostles around with it. Oh.
Can you put away the sharp sword, please? Thank you.
Sorry.
We can look at the shiny things later.
And we won't hold it. We'll wield it.
Okay.
So, dish.
So we're going to go see your old mentor?
For lack of a better term, yes.
What would be a better term?
Dick.
Commandant. His name is Simon Harrington, and he fashions himself a supernaturalist.
What's that mean?
He does a little bit of what we do. He fashions himself a wizard of a sort. Before he got sort of on the outs with the magical community, he would take odd jobs, some prestigious, some important, and he had help. That's where I met Skaal. It's where we're from.
You both sort of worked with Simon? Or for Simon?
We worked for Simon.
Old co-workers, indeed.
I want to point this out, but I don't want to tell you what it means. That if you said out loud, oh, Lincoln and Skaal, there's an odd, catch or hesitance before he confirms that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving you any more details. I just wanted to say that you clocked that there was something about that, the way you phrased that question that tripped him up for a second.
Anna for sure is the only one that saw that because Theo's too busy. Can I roll investigate a mystery to see if I recognize Simon Harrington?
I would love for you to roll investigate a mystery to see if you recognize Simon Harrington.
Since you mentioned magical community. 11.
What would you like to know about Simon Harrington?
What caused his falling out with the magical community?
He tried to magic himself a Senate seat.
Excuse me?
He tried to use his supernatural abilities and connections to cheat and acquire real-world political power.
Huh.
And that's not done. Also, he's not technically a full United States citizen. So it wouldn't have worked.
Wouldn't have
unless he
worked
did
anyway.
an inappropriate amount of magic.
I'm wondering, based on any possible like rumors, gossips, history that Theo might have learned in being Nessos and Maggio, I want to know something that could hurt Simon, whether it be, like a physical weakness, or if it would be like a
You want to hurt his feelings?
kind of like Anna is important to Theo and Lincoln Ramsey is important to Anna. So Theo wants to help, and it seems like also like Lincoln's not excited about seeing this person and like has had similar feelings about her own quote unquote mentors. I'm kind of wondering the same vibe as like Frederick Beans about the
Like, is there something he would be particularly sensitive about?
yeah, like what's something that I could like
How do I roast him?
how do I roast him, or what can I use to get leverage or use against him?
Oh, this pleases me. Yeah, his Senate run would have been in the 90s, like 30 years ago. So the thing to like, the actual kind of reputation that you have of him is very third-handed, very like kind of tossed off. Like I think for a good amount of your childhood, you thought that Simon Harrington was a like reference to a character from Andy Griffith or something, that you thought this was a fictional joke of a character. And I think that's going to be the thing that rises to the top.
Like when Walter Mondale ran for president and
No, more like who was the Dan Quayle? More like that. So I think the fact that that is your perception of him is as a magical world punchline. That would be the thing. He was very clearly after clout in any form. He didn't get it, and you're pretty sure that would piss him off.
Okay, so we're looking for Skaal. I guess how can we help?
I think Lincoln's going to catch your eye in the rearview mirror and just say, "You are helping."
I don't get it.
well, we're here.
Being here, coming with him to see Simon.
Yeah. So, okay. So Simon's a jackass who wanted to be a politician. Didn't work out for them. Hilarious. How come you've parted ways? Did the apprentice surpass the master?
We had a difference of opinion. I thought I was a person, and he disagreed.
Right. Got it.
Also, for the foreseeable, let's just have it be Lincoln for now, in front of Simon.
Really? Just Lincoln?
He nods, like, not unwarmly, like, trust me, is kind of the gesture that he's doing. Just Lincoln.
Okay, got it. Lincoln.
You might also, he sort of looks back in the rear view as well. You guys might also want to keep it to just one name. He's got a whole thing. I mean, if you have to.
Oh, like, you mean when we introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
Got it.
Is he like that powerful?
He's that well-read. You know how you know a couple of schools of magic? He knows the whole damn university.
Well, it seems kind of impossible.
Well, I guess when you trade off being decent, you can be as smart as you want.
All right, let's meet your old commandant.
Theo, is there anything you want to try to do with what you have en route, or do you want to wait?
Theo wants to glamour and conceal her eye and her gray hand.
Okay. Roll that, please.
All right, do you want it to be one roll or two rolls?
I want it to be 2 rolls.
Can I have Mark or Anna help out? Because we're in the car.
I do think the only person who could help out is Mark.
Okay.
Anna's probably busy doing something else anyway.
What's Anna busy doing?
One of her abjuration effects.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to do take some time to surround Lincoln in a magical field that reduces all harm that he takes to 0.
I think there is going to be at least one moment where he's like, you don't have to do that.
Do what?
Come on. I know what you're doing.
I don't know. Have you had enough coffee yet?
No. He holds out his hand. Thermos me. Theo, which roll did you roll and what did you roll?
So I rolled a 12 on my first roll.
Which is for your eye.
And then the second roll, I rolled 10.
Okay.
All right, let's meet this dickwad Simon.
Yeah, so you realize that he has brought you out to Columbia Heights. You pull up to this home. It is a single-story home, probably like 2 bedrooms. Kind of looks like one of these houses that's like a 2-bedroom apartment that someone put a driveway up to. You know what I mean? Like a box.
Yeah.
Lincoln will pointedly not pull into the driveway, but will sort of pull up alongside, and then you'll all sort of get out and go up unless there's something else you want to do before you approach the house.
Should I bring like all my magical stuff in, or should I leave it in the car?
Probably leave it in the car.
What do you mean?
Like my tool belt of magical components and whatnot, and my drawstring bag of magical components and whatnot.
I think Lincoln will say, yeah, it'll be good to walk in armed.
Oh.
Okay. Anna like looks at her like face in the mirror and is like, good enough. And gets out.
I do, out of curiosity, because I always love to do this. I want
What'll
you
be
to roll
wearing?
plus charm to see how you look, Anna. And I do want to know what everybody's wearing, because you keep bringing this up, and now I'm going to make you have a consequence for it.
This is manipulate someone?
It's plus charm.
Oh, plus charm. Then it's not as good, but it's still a 9.
Okay. Yeah, so you look like someone who's trying to make yourself look nice, but instead look scary. I think that makes sense.
Oh, I'm not trying to look nice.
Well, then you look like you were trying to.
Oh, great. As far as what I'm wearing, I think she's got her usual like jeans that probably have like a couple of holes in them. She's probably got on some sort of like graphic tee of some sort of like rock band. And she's probably got either like a utility jacket or a shacket that she's wearing.
A shacket?
Yeah. Shackets are really in style.
Yeah, it's a jacket and shirt. It's just like a more thick fleece, like button-up thing.
They usually come in like flannel a lot of the time. Well, they don't have to, but a lot of them are in flannel.
Okay, I now know what you mean. Yeah, it's like a really thick shirt. Mark, tell me what you're wearing.
Black skinny jeans, black shirt with long sleeves, couple little buttons just at the neck or whatever, but then just kind of like, yeah, just kind of come up like you can see the tops of his arms or whatever. He's wearing his black glasses, and then he's wearing Converse.
Okay, Theo, you say that, but you've described someone dressed as like a tactical operative.
Yeah.
And your hair is now back to approaching shaggy, I think.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's real or not, I want the listeners to imagine him with his big Mark hair. Thea, the important questions.
Yeah. The thing is that Theo's enchanted clothing is her sweatshirt. So she's most likely wearing that maroon sweatshirt with jean shorts, stockings underneath. And then I think this time just some really chunky, like
Timberland?
Yeah, those are like the work boot looking ones, right? That, except they're like red. Yeah, and then her tool belt, drawstring bag. Oh, and Theo has her bracelet on. And her cat, Joker.
So I think, Lincoln parks the van, and he'll get out and kind of walk around the front and catch sight of what you're wearing, Anna, and it's subtle. He doesn't like give you a look. He just sees what you're wearing, and he just has a look. And that look is kind of like, hell yeah.
Aw. I think Anna will kind of go over and just like straighten up his collar a little. Let's do this. Let's do it.
What are you doing? God.
Helping you. God, don't be weird about it.
Mark looks at him directly and in his mind goes, "You got this."
You guys are so weird. Okay. And he's going to walk up and, for fuck's sake, fuck this guy. He's going to walk up and press the doorbell. And what will play inside is the tones of Big Ben. Lincoln's eyes are rolling back in his head so hard that it's making your head hurt. After a few moments, there is like a shuffling from inside the house. And then the door is one of those doors where there's like a solid white door behind a screen door. And so the solid white wood door swings open, but the screen door stays shut. And on the other side of it is standing I want to say he's like 5'10", and he's dressed very simply. He has kind of gray dress pants and a ecru, sort of beige linen shirt. And he's got a towel in his hand that he's drying his hands on as he opens the door, kind of confused as to who's here. And as for what he looks like properly as a dude, he appears to be in probably his mid-50s. He has dark, pushed back hair. He looks like Jonathan Pryce or like Richard E. Grant, like narrow, very Anglican features. The word you would use, and you would maybe use this particular word because it's already foreign, you would say he's posh.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of looks at each of you as though trying to place which fundraiser he's maybe here to get pitched on. And then his eyes come to rest on Lincoln, and they light up with recognition. And he will push open the screen door, holding the towel, still staring at Lincoln, and just be like, "My God, it's you. It's..." And Lincoln holds up a hand and says, "Lincoln. It's Lincoln now, Simon." "Lincoln. Lovely. And you've brought..." "These are my friends."
Hi.
Anna's totally standing like bouncer pose behind Lincoln.
Nice. Simon kind of looks at Lincoln like, "To what do I owe the pleasure?" "Oh, it's not going to be a pleasure, Simon." And he's just going to push past him into the house and call back after him and all of you to be like, "It's Skaal. He's missing, and you're going to help me find him." "Politesse, Lincoln. Politesse." I'm assuming you guys are sort of following him in.
I'll follow in.
Well, I think specific to Theo, who most likely wouldn't, and he would clock this, Simon will sort of hold the screen door open and beckon you in and be like, "Do come in, do come in. I am Sir Simon Harrington, sir, now. I've decided, Lincoln. Sir Simon Harrington."
Were you knighted by the queen?
"I was knighted by a queen." Wink.
Which one?
I think he'll lean very close to you, Theo, and say,
Ooh.
"It's a secret." Oh, you are going to get a whiff of him. He has
No.
a scent.
No!
Yeah.
He's got a musk.
Yep. You have a great uncle that he smells like. He smells like what you imagine the first aftershave ever invented was.
Werthers and mothballs.
Oh my God.
It's sharp. It's chemical. It's... yeah.
Theo is just with the most polite but begging eyes at Mark to save me.
He will follow your eyes to Mark and see Mark's
Glasses.
sunglasses and will allow the screen door to close. We'll close the wood door, and he's going to walk up to you, Mark, and he's going to place his hands near but not on your sunglasses, and he is going to say, "May I?" What do you say?
Knock yourself out. I glance over at Ramsey real quick. What does Ramsey do?
Oh, Lakin has just gone into the living room and is seems to be probably either taking stock or just straight up looking for something.
Yeah, I'm imagining that Mark and Theo and Simon are in this entryway hall, and Anna's probably followed Lincoln but stopped, and it's just kind of
I'm in between the two rooms or whatever.
In between, absolutely. So Lincoln has just gone in, and Anna is sort of manning the space between boss and pals, and Simon is taking your sunglasses off, Mark. And once he gets them off of you, oh boy, he holds them without looking at you, Theo. He holds the sunglasses out to you as though you're his assistant. Here, take these, without a word. You just have Mark's sunglasses in your face.
Theo will take them, but she's narrowed eyes at this guy.
I think it's less a take and more he dropped the glasses and you caught them.
Yeah, my shoulders and jaw are tense.
And Mark, he has your chin in his hand and he's like, "Remarkable.
Can I have my job back?
Are they natural? Were you born with this? They stolen. Stolen. No. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. He starts sniffing right in front of your face. And you can he gets so close that you can smell some of the sort of acrid fume of his aftershave catch fire almost. Evaporate off.
I think we're crossing paths of smells here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anna's gonna just march up and actually gonna kind of shove in front and kind of push Mark back a little bit and be like, we actually have
I beg your pardon.
business to attend to. Simon, right? I'm Anna.
This is business.
Yeah, Lincoln wants to talk to you in there. Kind of important business. I think we better get a move on. What color's hair does he have, by the way?
Dark brown, but a very high hairline and swept back.
Does it look like it's receding or dyed?
Both.
Nice dye job, by the way. I'm just gonna walk into the room.
When Anna had come in, Theo definitely comes back to Mark's side and puts her arm around her hand around Mark's arm and pulls him towards where Lincoln had disappeared to, and also handing Mark his glasses.
Simon's gonna stand up a bit straighter and look at you, Anna, as you walk away or whatever, and be like, "You must be his pet."
Oh.
I think Anna doesn't even answer and just walks in.
In the living room, a huge book slams onto the coffee table, which is annoyingly exquisite. As you go look, it's this huge mahogany, very substantial thing. It would take probably all of you to lift this thing. And there's a huge book that kind of doesn't really seem... The vibe you get is, who gives a shit what book this is? And Lincoln is looking out at you and is like, I came here for a reason, Simon, and gestures to the also annoyingly plush leather chairs and couch in this room and says, can we talk? And Simon looks, the picture of politeness at Theo, at Anna, at Mark, lingers on Mark, shakes his head. Yes, of course.
Anna has a comeback in her head, but she's like, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it.
I'm so glad I'm not playing Casey right now. I would beat the shit out of this man.
I know, right? It's taking everything that she has to not say anything because she doesn't want to make it worse for Lincoln. So she's just going to bite her tongue.
Right. Well, and so he'll kind of walk in and plop himself down onto the recliner that he will almost instinctively start to lean back as though to recline, but then be like, right. Never mind. And then lean forward and be like, so it was, which was it, Spencer? Skaal. It's Skaal, Simon. He was the bird. The one who could search for people. The painted crow. Simon. Skaal. He doesn't search for people. He finds them. Because one... No. Simon interrupts him. Because one is a skill and the other is a power. And there is a difference. They're quite proud, you know. He explains to the rest of you. He said this often when he worked with me. And he's been taken, you say. But he was bound to your very location, bound to my home. And he was burned away, and he was brought somewhere, and he kind of imperceptibly glances towards Mark. And I think he's being sent where I don't want him to go. And Simon's going to lean forward and be like, and you've come to me because I know, Simon, because I know you never stopped looking at us. I know you never stopped looking for us. I know you know where all of us are at all times. I know whatever spur you had in Skaal is still in him, and I need it, and you're going to give it to me.
I was just going to say, and we know where he is, and I'm going to flash just kind of a visual of the depths of the sky into his mind.
You do that, and he reclines in his chair very quickly, as though you have smacked him in the forehead. The devil, you say? And he sort of touches his forehead and kind of looks around what was that? And then just he comes to look at you, Mark, and he's like, oh, very interesting. Eyes to see and a mind to show. Stolen, though, right? But stolen from... Simon, can we focus? Yes, right. Very well. The painted crow. Well,
For the record, as this whole conversation's been going on, Anna's kind of just taking a stroll around like the den or the living room, whatever that we're in, and is like looking at like the bookshelves and is like looking to see if he's got any like cool artifacts or anything in his abode.
would you like to roll something? Waggles eyebrows.
Yeah, can I roll a...
It would be investigate a mystery.
Fuck, Anna, damn it! 4.
Ooh.
My weakness. Sharp.
I was going to ask a question, but I think I'm going to not ask a question and decide that Iniko is in here with you and is knocking a bunch of books off of the shelves.
Iniko, God, what are you doing?
And I think at that happening, Simon's going to stand up and sort of stomp over and be like, oh, now you've brought 2 wild animals into my home. This is very like you, Lincoln.
This is Iniko, my familiar.
He's going to approach Iniko and then stop and sort of put both hands on his waist and be like, will you take your familiar from my furniture?
Yeah, come in here, Iniko. I like pat my shoulder.
And then he'll like get kind of in your face and be like, I've already washed my hands. And then he's going to start putting things back together. Well, as I was saying, yes, I protect my investments and the people who rely upon me for earthly protection. Yes, I know. You're quite powerful indeed. Putting books back together, sorting them, deciding that that's not where it goes. Maybe it should be off of this time, yes. Yes, I know you have quite a lot of power in your realms, but in this realm, I understand how things are to be done. This is my true superpower. And one of the things that we do, puts the last book in, is protect our investments. And he's going to stand up and look at Lincoln and say, kind of not unshittily, my question to you then, Lincoln, what will I gain? Should I help you? Will Skaal become mine again? I think, Anna, you will clock that he is on purpose not looking at you. And then I think the other thing that will happen is like...
Lincoln's not looking at me.
Yeah, he has a hand gesture that's like, stand down.
Yeah, because I think he probably senses Anna's like...
Yep, just like, don't. Skaal works on trade. I'll give you a freebie. Simon seems to realize something.
Is he suggesting like you could find something for him?
Mm-hmm. I'll help you find her. He'll help you find her. Simon seems suspicious. But you said, I know what I said. This is what I'm saying now. Skaal is important to me. He's more important to me than her anonymity. I can tell Skaal to help you find her, but that's where it will end. Then you'll find out what she really thinks of you. Oh, I know, Simon. I don't want to do this. They share they have like a whole conversation with their faces.
Mm-hmm.
And Simon is like, but he will bring me to her. Lincoln nods.
That's what Skaal does. He finds people.
A power, not a skill. He composes himself, unbuttons one of his shirt buttons. Say I do have this spur, as you say. How do I know he's even alive?
Theo, you were going to try something, right? Sorry, was I not supposed to say anything?
I prefer DM magic style. I think this conversation can happen quietly.
I was going to say, I think Anna might be kind of like, maybe walks back towards the wall where Theo is most definitely standing. And is like...
I am wherever Mark is.
Yeah. I think you guys are like just plastered to the wall. Like, what is happening? Anna kind of scuffles back towards where Theo is standing and is like, don't you have a thing to like, you can look at people like from afar? Like you did to that building that one time?
Yeah, but do you really want to do it in front of him?
I mean, if we can prove that Skaal's alive, then it might...
I want to save you from this and also make Simon more disgusting. I want to describe to you some of the artwork that he has on his walls.
No! I don't wanna.
It's very... The only word that's coming to mind is shit goth. It's a lot of like... Do you remember the books, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of his paintings that he has on his walls are that. Like, so detailed and gruesome that they're almost painful to look at. So there's like a face that seems to be scraped off. There's like a hand that where like a lot of the skin is coming off. But then there is a frame that has string, vertical and horizontal, about, I think in total, probably 30 strings hung between it. Some of them are cut and are just like dangling off of whatever nail they're sort of tied to and sort of being caught in the web of the other strings. And Lincoln will point at the string piece and say, "You know he's not dead because his string isn't cut." And Simon seems impressed.
Would you allow me to open up my third eye?
Would love for you to open up your third eye. Roll Read a Bad Situation.
So I rolled a 9.
You sure did.
You test 2 questions and you see invisible things.
I want to know if I see invisible things. What invisible things I see first. I'm most interested if there's any invisible things with that piece of art.
Okay, so I'm going to start with not that, because the first thing that I can tell you is not all of, but some of the paintings are, here's the phrase I want to use, alive adjacent. Some of those paintings are prisons. So that's one invisible thing that you see. The other invisible thing that you see is that each of those threads on the thread piece does have a sort of invisible connection that leads off in a different direction. But you can tell that after a few like ethereal inches, it's obscured, like deliberately obscured. So each one of these threads has a line coming off of it that then like fades away. So you would not be able to follow any of them because of something that's been done to it. Even the cut ones, I think, still have that obscured connection to something, and you don't know what.
Would you allow me to ask the things that are in these prisons? Are they locked away because they're dangerous, or is this a collector?
I would say that the ones that you can see here are dangerous. That whatever is being held back here is one thing that you would for sure notice is that the magical imprisonment apparatus is exquisitely built, which is good because the other thing that you can notice is that the power being held back is large.
Okay. I wanna know more about any magical shit with Simon. What's his vibe? Lincoln said that he is like versed in all magics. I kind of want to take a look at his aura, his magic.
When you look at him with your third eye open, you can tell calculated certainty that he is 446 years, 7 months, and 15 days old.
Okay.
That is not his natural hair. That is not his natural hairline. Those are not his natural eyes. That is not his natural skin. He's stunningly old. It's also not a glamour precisely. Yours is held in place with a ritual. His is held in place with sort of physical stuff. The way that you can kind of understand it is his hair, face, eyes, teeth. It's like wearing clothes.
Okay.
As he speaks, you can see both the Simon he presents and the Simon that he perhaps truly is as a shadow projected onto him, 7 inches shorter, much fewer teeth, wispier hair. And he says, "As it happens, I do yet trek Skaal, and you have yourself a deal."
Great. We think we know where he sort of is.
He's gonna go to a console beneath and a few feet to the right of the thread piece and pull out. This is it's like a dresser, but all of the shelves are those really thin, the kind of drawers that they have at city records offices because they have lying flat blueprints in them or something. He opens one of those, a few things down, and it is very particularly laid out shit. That there's a stack of talons and then some beaks and then varying sizes of bones and then a few sort of concrete plates that have handprints in them, and it's all of these just different things. And he will reach down and dance his little fingers over everything like he is truly enjoying the experience of looking for which thing he's looking for, and comes to rest over a pile of feathers. and he plucks one of them up. The thing I want to call out about this feather that he's plucked up is that it is not by any means the most like deep black or brilliant blue feather. It seems by comparison almost dusty.
Mm-hmm.
And he flourishes it up at you and turns towards Lincoln, and he's like, I shall fetch my codex.
The hell feather is that? Anna says to Lincoln.
That's what he does.
Is that supposed to be skulls?
Nope. He's going to say this low and close and conspiratorial and say, that's the bird he killed to bind Skaal to himself.
Oh.
Simon is going to walk kind of in through the kitchen towards a different room and be like, honestly, Lincoln, the time you've spent away, I thought you'd be good enough to do this by yourself. Have you not been? And then he like looks at you and is like, has he not been teaching you how to do things?
Oof.
Actually, Lincoln's a great teacher. I've learned a lot.
Simon does a like, face at Lincoln. A teacher, are we?
Pretty damn good one, too. But I know the term is probably lost on you.
Lincoln has his arms just crossed. Well, when Lincoln was in my charge, he had a lot to learn indeed. Fine that you've assembled yourself a library of things to pass along to a, would we say, student? Let's not. Right. To work. To work, friends.
Can I ask a quick question?
You sure can.
I'm really curious as to what things in here are connected to Lincoln.
That is a good question.
I also actually remembered that I have a move, and I'm wondering if, like, I could help with this, too.
What move do you have?
Spirit Touched. Your experiences have made you sensitive to the supernatural. When you sense magical things, roll plus weird. On a 10 plus, you can sense them fully. 7 to 9, choose either sense them fully, but they notice you too, or you sense only impressions.
The good news, bad news for Theo is that you are 100% sure that one of those strands is connected to Lincoln, but you have no idea which one, and you have no idea what would happen if you cut it. Anna, roll that.
That's a really good roll. 14.
I thought you were just exaggerating.
I also thought you were exaggerating because I can no longer read you. So, what does that mean? 14? That's 10 plus?
On a 10 plus, you can sense them fully. So I can sense magical things, kind of understand what's going on.
Oh, I love/hate this. So in the console from which he pulled out the feather, you can tell that like it is, every one of those shelves is like this. There are various sort of dried viscera or feathers or bones or teeth or desiccated eyeballs of all kinds of living things. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm vibing what you're going for, you can tell the one that is the spur that he has into Lincoln. And it is a dried fox paw.
I don't like that.
So you know that it's in the third drawer from the bottom. You can see it sort of sparking out at you like a beacon.
So this little fox paw is what he is able to use to bind Lincoln to be able to like see him.
Keep track of him, perhaps have control over him. You're not fully clear on what he's doing or what he's capable of.
Yeah.
But you know that's the thing. I think you're sort of jiving as Theo is, that the threads are a certain kind of tracker and these things are something else.
Okay. It's like a totem or something.
Yeah, exactly. Good word.
Anna's done a little bit of reading.
Congratulations.
What are we doing like right this moment?
So right this moment, Simon has taken the feather, he's come through his kitchen and into what is a very small study. And he sort of reaches into his desk and pulls out a bronze, low, flat bowl. And he, over his shoulder without looking at any of you, says, Flame Boy, I could use you.
I think that means you, Mark.
I think Mark gives out a big sigh. Okay.
So they're kind of like hunched over something?
He is not hunched over. He will hunch Mark over. And like, I think he's going to grab you bodily, Mark, and like lean you over this long, flat bowl and be like so, and then kind of
okay,
kind of casually, as though you're like on his team, be like, it's so nice to have someone who follows directions for a change. And then he's going to set about. He's going to go over and start doing something with something. He's going to take...
Is he distracted?
He's a little distracted. There will still be a roll.
Can I take that fox paw?
Roll act under pressure.
I am helping.
How are you helping?
I feel like Anna and Theo have like just this look on themselves, like,
And then they just nod.
Are you gonna? I'm gonna.
I'm helping too.
Honestly, I will allow that. I want Mark to roll help out, and I want Theo to also roll help out.
Aww.
This pleases me. Patreon exclusive roll bonuses, y'all.
11.
Nice.
13 advanced move.
Gunga,
Nice.
fuck
I rolled an
you.
8, so that's great.
No, you didn't. You rolled a 14.
Which act under pressure is an advanced move for me. So
Okay, excellent. So I can tell you exactly what is happening because actually the only outstanding question that I have right now is, Theo, how are you helping?
Theo and Anna share a look.
And then
And I think Theo's also whispers to Anna, I'm going to need a shower after this. And Theo will...
Anna gets a very worried look on her face, like, what the fuck does that mean?
Theo will, like a good pet, help as, like, however this fucking dude wants. Like, he's the perfect little assistant. I think just, like, put him on this, like, pedestal.
Abso-fucking-lutely. So I want to first say what Theo and Mark are doing. Theo and Mark and Simon, here's what you're doing. He has this feather, but you sort of all kind of intuit that he can't be burning up the feather, because if he burned up the feather, then he wouldn't have the tether. And so what he must be doing instead is taking off a piece of it and doing something with that. And so you then figure out, Theo, that what he must be doing is, like, he's going to try to sort of create a sachet of this thing. So you sort of push past him and find his sachet paper. And then you find some of his sort of reagents that would be in there. And you know these things. You've done this with Bennett the Seventh before. This is...
Yeah. Is it possible to tweak it with, like, recognizing that, but having my own that's, like, the same? Or is he a fucking snob that he has to use his own?
I think if you did that, if you, like, reached into your bag, he would physically slap your hands.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Be like... And he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't, like, call out that I think it's unclear whether he knows you're Maggio or not, but what he would just do is, like, smack your hand and just go, and then point you at where he keeps his quality ingredients and his reagents and be like, I always appreciate a proactive assistant. Perhaps we should talk if you're looking for work. And then he'll catch you out of the corner of his eye and give you a wink. And then, Mark, you are there also, and you are...
You are there also.
You're there.
Well, you were like...
Hi, I'm Mark.
After all of this is sort of being put together, they, like, lick your fingers and seal off this sort of pouch such that it sticks together. And then you have this sort of almost basically a tea bag with some reagents and some feather bits. And it spins around and sort of looks to you. And Mark, you snap your fingers, and holding up from your thumb as though you've clicked a lighter is a little flame.
How's that?
And then as he will, like, hold this pouch above and let it sort of gradually take flame from a couple of different angles. And he will look at the fire and notably not at you, Mark, and say, oh, it is nice to see someone who can get things done. There's much we may have to discuss, Mr.
It's just Mark. No last name, like Cher.
How famous. And then he'll drop the sachet into the low bowl.
Right? Lincoln told us not to give last names, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Anna, having been thusly helped,
I am going to steal this paw.
Fucking get it.
honestly, like, you take the vaguest step towards this console, and Lincoln clocks you doing it and has a concerto of looks over his face where he's like, what are you doing? You shouldn't. This is too dangerous for you. Why are you... I get what I think you're doing, and then I can kind of look and see his back is turned, and then just do it quickly. Like, it's this whole... No words exchanged.
Yeah.
You get him.
Just a whole conversation.
And you rolled goddamn good. You slide this thing open. And I honestly think you maybe even are like oh, hang on. And you reach in and you have like a crumpled piece of tissue or candy wrapper that's in the same shape and size as a fox paw that you can swap out Indiana Jones style if you want.
What it probably would have been was, I always used to feed Inico those, like, beef jerky sticks. It's a beef jerky wrapper in there.
just crunched up. It's a couple of them bound up into a piece, and you're like, all right.
Yep, and then I stow it away.
I think you're even gonna get a like, no way, from Lincoln.
And I'm gonna stuff it in there. Stuff it in my Clockwork Child, like, satchel that I have. And we'll just kind of go about my business. I'm not gonna do anything else with it for right now. I just wanna hide it.
Okay, in the other room, Simon is going to take a long stick that appears kind of like, maybe, honestly, especially if Mark sees this, the thing that you would immediately vibe it as is a sparkler. So it's like a long sort of chopstick-shaped thing that after he drops the burning sachet into the low bronze bowl, he will light this long stick. And then he'll pick it up and you can see this like small candle flame that like a sort of stack of wispy embers is blowing off in a certain direction. And he looks at the thing and his eyes go wide and he says, oh, I do love this part. And then he spins around and he says, can you drive, Lincoln? And then you are all going to get in the car and follow the direction of the embers of this burning stick. And that will bring you to Skaal.
But isn't Skaal in, like, the Sky Kingdom?
Partially.
Don't we need to kind of get there somehow? That might be a problem. I mean, Mark, I don't know if you can get us in.
One impassable bridge at a time, girl. One impassable bridge at a time.
I whisper over to our group. Does that mean he wants me to get us there?
I guess we'll follow this trail until there's no more trail to follow, and then if we need to go to the sky, then we go to the sky.
Maybe we're just going somewhere here that correlates with somewhere that's there.
Should I contact Ro?
I don't want to expose him to Ro or vice versa.
You could contact Ro. You could do, Theo, you could do your thing that you want to do. With your
observing
cuttings.
a place?
Yeah, you have the cuttings from the mural and you have the jingly ball. I would like for either or both of you to do whatever you would like. I am going to decide that you are all going to pile back into the car. I need one of you to volunteer to not sit down because Simon is going to take shotgun.
Okay. I can sit on like the floor of the car because Theo was going to say, I think to Anna, if I'm going to do this observing thing, I don't really want him to see just because he really creeps me out.
Yeah, he really creeps me out too. He seems really like Mark. Maybe Mark could keep him busy.
As you guys are chattering, I'm like staring out the window because we're in the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm staring out the window. And like in my head, I'm like, Jesus Christ, why is this happening? Blah, 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 blah. And then I think I'm going to telepathically talk to Ro and start the conversation in Ro's head with a sigh and then replay everything in fast motion, everything that got us up to this point. And then it just stops on my face going, where do we go from here?
I need you to roll manipulate someone. As I do every time you call anybody on Mark phone.
11.
Okay, so this is now. Got it.
She's looking at me, and then I look down, and the visual is of below the islands. And then I look back up at her. I'm envisioning this happening in cloud space with her and me looking down at the under.
Snap. So you are in sort of a virtual representation, if you will. The two of you are floating in the sky. She's flapping her wings. You're just floating. And she's looking down. But then she looks at you and she's like, okay, so this is now.
What do I need?
You need her helmet.
I see.
She's going to, as you are looking down, you can see, but I think you know you can't go into the depths. Beyond this cloud cover, it's like staticky. And you can see, again, like flickering in and out of existence, you can see Skaal. You can see the painted crow. He's going deep. He's flashing and he's over here. And he's trying to grab something. And he's flashing and he's over here. And there's like, you can tell that there's like all these odd little tendrils sort of coming up from whatever is beneath the depths. And one of them, again, you can't quite pinpoint it, is the vulture. And the vulture is dead. And the vulture must stay dead. And it's unclear if he's kind of incapable or unwilling to grab onto the vulture.
Who?
Skaal. The painted crow is sort of flitting about this one specific tendril coming up from the depths, which you know to be the vulture.
Got it.
And you know
Got it.
because she knows it. Ro knows it. The vulture is someone who stole a suit of armor from her. It was to have been the badge of office of another one of her princes, and this mere person took it. And then, through no intervention of mine, Ro intimates, she went ahead and politely died.
It's so nice when they do that.
Yeah, I love that.
Someone is trying to undo that, and I need you to not let that be undone.
Mark nods.
So that's what you can see, Mark.
So the vulture basically stole the suit of armor. It was trying to kind of be like a prince or whatever.
And then just died.
And now somebody's trying to undo her death. And
Yep.
I wonder if it's fucking Simon.
That's what I wanted to. Yeah.
Can I tune into Simon?
Yep, you can always tune into Simon.
Also, kind of a question. Since Mark saw and got all that information, is it really necessary for Theo to use magic then?
That's a question for Theo. I will tell you, Jonny, would really like you to use magic to try to track Skaal.
Why?
I don't have to tell you that.
I don't have to listen to you.
You know how these stories of people that see things in the peripheral vision, but they're not really there?
Mm-hmm.
Can I, in his mind, trick him into thinking that he's seeing this vulture?
In Simon's mind?
To see if it triggers a reaction from him, maybe? There, but not there?
I would need that to be at least one roll. Yeah, I think I would just call that a use magic roll. But I would allow you to try that.
I think I'm broadcasting this conversation with Ro to the group, just our internal team.
Okay?
Well, then that definitely gets Anna's... Is the term hackles raised?
The term is raised hackles.
Yeah.
Which would cascade down to Iniko,
Mm-hmm.
who would be unable to conceal the hair standing up on the back of his neck.
9.
Pick a glitch. Which gift do you want to give me, Mark Clayton?
You know what? Draws unwanted attention.
Unwelcome. But
Unwelcome
Immediate,
attention.
unwelcome attention. Exquisite.
Theo's definitely not going to be able to cast a spell if Simon's attention is suddenly all on Mark.
I think that puts you in a perfect position to cast a spell. The unwelcome attention isn't necessarily on Mark. I'm the worst.
Also, was my spell successful? Is the key question.
Well, yeah, it's an unwanted side effect, but it still works.
You try to do it, you do it. You wanted him to see out of the corner of his eye, this person. He does. The demonstrable, visible situation that happens is that Simon, sitting in the front, holding the little thing, all of his attention focused on this little candle flame at the top of his stick, suddenly, like, once again, slams back in his seat and spins his head to look out of his window, and then whirls around on Lincoln. What the devil are you playing at?
Hey, calm down, Simon.
I'm just driving. I told you, you said that he would bring me to her, and not until after. But now how can I see the other one?
Everything okay up there, Simon? What's going on?
He will spin around on you, eyes wide, pupils tiny, and he will say to you, Anna, the adults are talking. He's not missing at all, is he? What the fuck?
Think we'd fucking be here?
Of course he is. Why on earth do you think that I would put myself... Why would I be in the same zip code as you if he wasn't? Then how did I see what I just... The one who took her. You... What are you playing at, Don't... If you can't keep your shit together, Simon, I'll happily take that stick away from you and guide myself with your fucking Ebenezer Scrooge magic. You never... How dare you never respect the old ways? I know older ways than you are. Asshole. The only thing you had over me was that your fucking world has the dumbest shit going on. I know how to live. I know how to survive. You know how to tell lies 100% of the fucking time. He's going to snatch this flaming stick from Simon and be like, if you can't keep your shit together, I think somebody else called shotgun.
That's me.
And then he's gonna like pass the flaming stick to his other hand and unhook Simon's seatbelt.
Can I use magic to blow open the door?
You sure can. It might be exceedingly violent, but I think Simon is just like blisteringly angry and like his eyes are darting back over out the passenger side window and be like, Veronica.
14 advance move.
Here's what I would love for it to mean. To actually have cast the spell that you tried to cast, it would have blown the door off of the car. With an advanced move, what I would like to offer unto you is that the door just sort of shimmers out of existence. And you know what? Lincoln sees it happen. Lincoln just fucking grins and is like, thank you for showing me the ways of this world, Simon. Happy trails. And kicks him out the door.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah.
As I assume all of you will sort of swivel your heads to watch him slam into the ground, you will see that he doesn't. He like sort of flies out and is flailing and is like, whoa! But then it is as though he has been placed inside of a hamster ball.
Oh, yeah.
Where like he, instead of hitting the ground, he sort of like hovers above it and just starts spinning in a panicked, horrible swivel. It's definitely not pleasant for him.
Is it a magical effect that he's doing unto himself?
It is certainly a magical effect that he's doing unto himself. Why do you ask?
I want to force of will that shit.
I know you do. Why don't you roll that for me?
What does the force of will thing do again?
It'll make his magic stop.
Ha!
That's going to be a 13.
It fucking is. So he's spinning around very unpleasantly, but at least being unharmed. And then suddenly you just go, and snap your fingers. And then it's like, it is again as though he's been thrown from a car. And he like is whoop, and slams into, admittedly, the grass at the side of the road. So it's unlikely that he will die, but it won't be pleasant, and he won't have all of his bones anymore.
Yeah. And you said that I just had kind of magically glamored away the door. So can I bring just the door back?
Yeah, at any time. So yeah, he gets kicked out, you do that, and then there's just like a and it like burns in reverse. And the door is just back, and there's not like, for just a second, there was that horrible shove of air as you were driving. And now it's just back, and there's just nobody sitting in the front seat. And Lincoln is holding both the steering wheel and the little candle. And he will hold out the candle to the center console and be like, little help.
Mark grabs it. I'm a professional.
I really like this. So Mark just is like, comes out from the back, grabs it, and sits in the front seat.
Okay, I guess I'm that wanted shotgun.
You guys comfy? Okay.
Maybe he was saving the seat for you, but I thought he was saving it for me. It's fine.
I just wanted to hold the sparkler.
Yeah, I know.
I think Lincoln's voice is going to be like, eyes on the rear, Ashwood.
What? Eyes on whose rear? Well, I mean,
PG-13, I need you watching our ass.
Yeah. I'll watch the ass. I mean, yep.
For the record, sorry about that. I needed to see how he interacted with that.
I think maybe Simon is the one that took Skaal, or was behind it.
I mean, the way he reacted To Veronica?
Who's Veronica? Do you know who Veronica is?
I think Veronica is the vulture.
I don't think he's telling us everything.
Or at least someone's not telling us everything.
That'd be his MO. So as you've asked these questions about who's Veronica and what's going on and et cetera, I think Lincoln is going to big sigh. Well, I have bad news and I have bad news. Which do you want first?
Oh, great.
The worst news.
He sort of is looking around at what he can see, and he's like, the bad news is I know where we're going. We're going to an old headquarters of someone who used to go by the Pigeon, Simon's ex-wife.
Okay.
What? Wait, Veronica?
That's the Pigeon's new wife.
Oh.
The gal who stole her heart. And there's one thing I know about these fucking human mages. They love thinking that there's no rule they can't break.
Excuse me.
Present company excluded. I'm annoyed that I have to say this, but I do want you to know that I don't mean you. The depths, you said, Clayton.
Yeah, and I don't think we can go there.
I don't think anyone's supposed to go there, and they're trying to make my painted crow go there and drag her back. She doesn't want to come back, and it doesn't want to give her back, but if she can force Skaal to do it, it will rip a hole between the world of the living and the world of the dead. I don't think I need to tell you why we can't let that happen.
So the Pigeon is Simon's ex-wife?
Which it occurs to me now, I do have some good news. I don't have to set Skaal after finding her. Technically, I've already held up my end of the bargain. Lincoln will look in the rearview mirror. As long as he can keep up, he can see her anytime he wants.
Can I ask a retcon question?
Yep.
Would I be able to have snipped some hair from Simon?
Roll act under pressure.
How?
He was in the front seat. I wonder if I could have just, snip. That's a 13 advance move.
So, yeah, this is... With that roll, I think this is a thing that, at this point in Theo's life and career, you just have as a habit where you're every time you meet someone, you're
Insurance policy.
how do I get your hair? So it's hi, my name's Jake. I'm going to be taking care of you here. Have you guys been to Cheesecake Factory before? You're yeah, can you just come real close and bring some of your hair? Just nothing. I'll have an iced tea.
They would have gotten it either when we were riding in the car or when she was helping him back in his house with Mark.
Yeah, I think either one makes sense. With that role, it actually makes sense that you were you didn't even have to take it off of his person. You were able to find fallen hairs in his study.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's not ungross.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand. The Pigeon is Simon's ex-wife. Veronica,
AKA the vulture.
It's her new wife.
the Pigeon's new wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ha! Simon's a cuck.
He's a cook?
Yeah, that's what it said.
I think you are going to get precisely one barked out laugh from Lincoln. And then he'll look at you in the mirror and give you a come on.
Yeah, he is.
So would it still be helpful if I observed where Skaal is?
Couldn't hurt.
More information is always useful. I mean, how would a Skaal even been taken? We assume by the vulture or by this pigeon person, or how do we think he got taken?
I mean, how close was the pigeon and Simon? Because I'm just, speculating and stuff, but could the pigeon have done the same that I've done, that Simon's done?
Or how conniving do we think Simon is that maybe he did something to send Skaal to this place, knowing that you would come to him so that you could help him find his old lady?
Lincoln's eyes will flash and then sort of search the air, and then he will slam on the brakes.
Theo will slam into the back of Mark's chair.
Mark will slam into the whatever's in front of me.
We're walking into a trap.
Shit, did I actually just latch onto something? Am I brilliant?
Easy, but also yes.
Thank you.
Is it a trap for us or is it a trap for Simon?
It's a trap for me.
How so?
What do you mean? Explain.
He sort of looks at you and then kind of looks down and seems to be doing some math. And he's like, there's a lot I can't tell you about myself.
Why?
Because it's better if you don't know.
But you said that we were friends.
That's why you shouldn't know. But they're trying to break a barrier. You can't blow up a wall without a bomb. They want me there. He looks up at you, Anna, like eyes wide, like half scared, half offended. I followed his dance steps, every part of it.
Well, I doubt he had planned that you were going to shove him out of the van, so there's that.
Or that you might show up with friends.
Also, you're having this realization right now, so we're ahead of the game.
So, you probably know him better than anyone. What would he be doing next? How do we outfox him?
And like, why don't you just not go?
He's going to spin to one side in his chair and be like, okay, right. What wouldn't he see coming? What wasn't part of...
I mean, we have a couple of things on our side. Mark, you kind of are a prince of the sky.
And we can see behind the curtain.
Plus 2 magical prodigies he definitely didn't see coming. He never would have expected me to make friends.
Anna's like, counting, and she's like, wait, you're talking about me?
Shush. I'm thinking.
Why hasn't the vulture taken the crow yet?
The pigeon is trying to use the crow to claw back the vulture.
From the depths.
And they're going to try to use Lincoln to blow open the barrier. But there's someone else they haven't thought about. And Lincoln's going to close his eyes and sort of shimmer a little bit. Open her eyes. It's Ramsey Lincoln.
Whoa, I don't think I've ever seen you shift in front of me. That's weird.
Were we not supposed to look?
I have to change.
Mark blushes.
I think Anna turns to Theo and is like, I think it's probably more important now than ever that we know what's going on if this is truly a trap. If you can either look in at Skaal or the birds. So many birds.
Yeah, I can do something. Is it more important to see what they're doing right now or where Skaal is? Or, I mean, I could try and observe when Skaal went missing, if that's going to give us more, or I could try doing both.
I think it's probably more important to know what we're headed into than what happened. I think we have a pretty good guess about what happened, assuming we're right, which my boss is pretty smart, so I think he's probably right. Or she's probably right.
Okay.
It is in those things. You could try to do both things. I would allow that, and I would be okay with it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I would prioritize what we're walking into.
Prioritize the future over the past, but I have information in both scenarios.
Theo will sit cross-legged in the back seat, and she will take out from her drawstring bag what looks like a makeup kit, and she will have one container that has homemade powder and then this separate palette that's just empty. Yeah, Theo will pour the powder into this mixing tray type of thing. And then I think that she's going to take... Oh yeah, I don't have a feather of him. I have the...
paint and the bell.
Yeah. So I'll put some of the paint from the mural in and mix it together. And I think that Theo will...
I will interrupt and say that as the rest of you see her mix that paint from the mural into this very tiny compact plate, you can hear a faint, distant crow caw.
Aww.
And Theo will take a clean new makeup powder brush and apply it to her eyelids, keeping her eyes closed and focusing where Skaal is.
Rolling use magic.
10.
Once you sort of settle in and start to do the thing that you understand to reach out with your vision, it is as though you've thrown open some heavy double doors and hundreds of pigeons are flowing out of them, taking up your whole vision. You can't see anything past them because there are just all of these birds besieging you. I think the rest of you can see Theo start to low-key freak out. You at the very least kind of lose your balance and are swatting at your face. And Anna and Mark, you can see this happening and you're concerned, likely, and you react however you would react.
Could I have Theo grab Anna's hand?
I will have you roll act under pressure, please, because it pleases me to do so.
13.
Your eyes are closed and you can't see, and you grab Anna's hand.
Okay.
And you are grabbing and squeezing into you. You are like at least oriented in space as to where you actually are, which helps you separate what you are seeing versus what you are seeing. And so you can see all of these pigeons. There are so many of them, and there is no end to them. All the same horrible, filthy gray coming your way. And you sort of try to push past them, and you are pushing through what feels like walking through a sea of pudding. There's some kind of barrier, something trying to keep you out. And you can try to like push past it, and you can see just the vaguest thing. And then as though you're looking through filthy glass, you can see the like shimmering kind of outline of a cross. And then it like kind of goes down and expands out to be the spire of a church. And then you can kind of tell that what you are looking through is not just this supernatural barrier preventing you from getting out, but it is in fact 2 stories of dirt. That the place you are trying to see is in the basement of a church. Basements, long-standing enemy of the pod.
But nothing good happens in basements.
So then, you people who have been seeing Theo sort of flailing and trying to stay away from something that doesn't seem to be there, you see her sit up and gasp and know for certain that wherever you're headed, it's in the basement of a church.
We're going a church, a basement of a church.
Okay, a basement of a church is where we're headed.
Yeah, and there are a lot of pigeons.
Could love me some pigeons. Not. Quite clarifying question, Jonny.
Mm-hmm.
Is the thing that Mark is holding that's like kind of guiding us to it, is that like Skaal's totem?
That's the like sort of end. Yeah, it is pointing you towards Skaal.
It's like the same, like the fox paw that I have for...
Simon still has the rest of the pigeon stuff. Yeah. Because he had a pile of feathers.
I thought we were tracking down where Skaal was.
No. So we're talking about a couple of different things. So Simon used part of the Skaal feather to create the thing that Mark has that's leading you to where Skaal is. You have taken the thing that would have let him track Lincoln.
I took the full thing, but we only
Yes.
have a portion of whatever.
You only have a portion of the Skaal thing, and stuff for the pigeon is unrelated.
Okay. I think maybe while Theo is doing this, I want Anna to thumb through her spell book. I want to see if she can find anything in there about totems or like whatever this kind of magic is, and see if there's like a way to break it or something.
Roll push up. And then sort of while this is happening, because I think the thing that I need to be clear is that when you've described Theo, a church with a basement, and the way that the spire looks, Ramsey's eyes will darken, and she's gonna, oh, I love this. She's gonna like, her hair still looks like the combed Lincoln Ramsey look, and she's gonna like push her hand through her hair and muss it all up and be like, I know where we're going.
Okay.
Anna, what did you roll?
I rolled an 8.
Okay. And what are you trying to find? You're trying to find a spell that does what?
My eventual goal is a spell that could like break the totem's effect. I want to like figure out if that's like a thing that I can even do, basically to spell the link of this totem between Ramsey and Simon.
I think with that roll, currently, what you can find is a version of the spell that created the link. So you know how it happened. There's potential future research you can do that could do the other thing, but you won't be able to find that right now. So what you find is, and honestly, I think you are grossed out by the ritual that you now understand. Not only is this in your spellbook, and it's what Simon did, Simon put it there. And it's grotesque. It binds a soul to a piece of viscera using the energy of the death of the animal to maintain in ad nauseum the connection.
Yeah.
I think what I want to make sure that makes clear to you is that dozens of animals have died
Yeah.
to give him the kind of control he wants over his things. You won't be able to find it now. I think you now have a direction. You now have a project. You may be able to figure it out. You won't be able to figure it out soon.
Theo is all in on helping you with this too, by the way.
In the meantime, you guys are going to pull up to a rural church. First of all, Mark, you will see that at this point where you're at now, the glowing embers are actually not only just going off in one direction, they're actually going down, which is not what they've been doing so far.
To the depths.
Yeah, you have a flame that's pointing downward. And Theo, you can recognize the spire, the little steeple.
Guys, my sparkler is sagging.
I think we have to go down.
Yeah, this is the cross that I saw.
And I think, Mark, you can also sense, it now makes sense to you specifically how you could have sensed Skaal both here and there, because you are 100% certain that there is a hole in life here. Somewhere in the basement of this church is a gateway to there that shouldn't exist. And someone's being shoved through it against their will. What's the move?
Ramsey, is there anything that we should know about Pigeon or the pigeon?
Can I tune into the pigeon?
You can sure tune into the pigeon.
Kind of just wondering, before we go in there.
9.
Mark gets one question.
What is the pigeon's biggest fear?
The pigeon's biggest fear is that the vulture can't come back and it will be her fault. She's not scared of many things. She's scared of losing the vulture.
So are we just gonna what?
We gonna kill the pigeon?
Here's what Lincoln can tell you about the pigeon, is that she won't be alone.
Well, I mean, yeah, it sounds like there's a whole bunch of pigeons.
Can we turn the pigeon against her flock?
That would just be her, Ramsey says.
Can she dissipate into a bunch of pigeons like a vampire can dissipate into a bunch of bats?
She's got a curtain up.
What?
When you were trying to look through, that's what you saw. You saw her stopping you. So she knows we're coming, which, no disrespect, she would have known we're coming anyway. But the actual bad news is she's not alone. She's got a crew. She's got a knife thrower who they'll throw knives, but keep an eye on him because he can control them after he throws them. Then there's the girl with the hammer. Don't let her hit you. And then there's Icicle.
I'm guessing she shoots ice.
Yep. And then she'll look at Mark and be like, "You ready to be a secret weapon, bud?"
Here we go!
I feel like I want to use one or two of my abjuration effects before going in here.
To do what?
I think I want to do maybe to Theo, because I already have one again on Ramsey. The one that you can do basically the henna tattoo to take one less harm every time you get harmed from a specific type of monster. I'd maybe do it to the pigeon.
Okay, I'd allow that. On Theo?
Yeah, I'll just do that for now.
And so, yeah, I think based on you knowing that it's the pigeon's sorcerer friends, you can do that kind of creature temporarily.
Okay.
I am a benevolent demigod.
So if Mark is gonna focus his attention on this icicle person, is there someone that Anna and I should maybe focus on?
I think the more interesting question to me is, what is your approach to this church? You have to get into the basement. You are now sort of in kind of the parking lot because it's that kind of a place where there is a massive and empty parking lot. And then there is this huge steepled roof. That's the word I was looking for this whole time.
I mean, I'm wondering if because they know we're coming, but I'm wondering if maybe we can, honestly, maybe Anna can use her illusion spell that we, I forget what it's called, but it's the one where you can basically create illusory duplicates of yourself.
Oh, that was it was the clock one, right?
I don't remember. Because there was one that was Mist Me, which was where you could make this mist fog. And then the other one was
Second hand.
Why do I want to say, I was going to say second skin or second hand or something.
It was second hand. Yeah, it was, you would basically link the spell to a ticking clock that would create an illusory duplicate of you, or in the case that you did at the time, your coach.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to use magic to use your ticking clock that I think you have on your person at all times.
We have plenty at the Clockwork Child.
You're damn right. It's part of the brand.
Mm-hmm.
You could roll use magic and create illusory duplicates of yourselves to like send in whatever direction you want it.
Yeah, I think we do that to maybe act as like a diversion or something to kind of get them coming out to hit us, and then we try to pop, hit them.
Yeah, and then I want to like toss out some stuff. So you want to send them kind of walking in as though they don't know they're being expected. But then you guys, do you want to come around like to the back, or maybe have Mark teleport you in, or...
I like the idea of Mark teleporting us in, but...
I just don't know if we'd be able to get everybody in, because there's 4 of us, and you can only teleport 2 people, I think.
Can I do more than that? I just have to roll for each person.
Or can Lincoln or Ramsey take care of...
I will allow, because Ramsey is here, and Ramsey can help.
Okay.
I guess the only question is, how do we know where to go? Did Theo see a spot that like looked like it was maybe unoccupied that we could go?
I will give you this as a gift. Theo has Skaal's bell,
Ooh.
So we could teleport potentially like right to him,
which has a connection to our guy. What I'm trying to tell you is that you have the materials at your fingertips to get you to the place where
he is being held.
Skaal is on this side of there.
Okay.
Here's the rolls that I'm going to need. I'm going to need Anna to roll use magic to do the second hand spell, to create the diversion. Then I'm going to need Mark to roll plus weird to teleport everybody down. I'm going to need Theo to roll help out for Mark's roll to teleport everybody down, because you have the connection to Skaal.
So I rolled 11, but I get a +1 because I'm using my spell book, so it's a 12 advanced move to use magic.
And it's an advanced move?
Yeah.
Exquisite.
Fucking 15.
Hell yeah.
Theo, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 10.
I am not mad about any of this. So here's what happens. Anna, as implied, you have like a lot of watches on your person at any given time. And you just kind of take one out and wind it up, because you don't keep them all wound, because why would you? They're spell components, not timepieces. And you wind one up really hard, and you kind of hold it in both of your hands, and you start muttering what you mutter, and you reach into your pocket and sort of rub some things onto it. And like, the other thing I want to give you with this advanced move is like, from your perspective, you are completely unaware of Ramsey Lincoln's gaze. You don't give a shit whether she approves of you right now. You're working, and you know how to do this. You've done it before, you've practiced it, you've done the reading, you know the incantation. And you are doing it. And it's like, it doesn't feel like a test anymore right now. Right now it feels like your job. It feels like this is what you are here to do. And you are attaching, and you are like reaching out and grasping little tendrils of identity from your friends in this van and attaching them into the gears of this clock and linking them all together and creating these things and creating these images that will be powered and run and bound into this clock. And then you like thrust them out, and then each of you, the rest of you who aren't Anna, sees yourselves walking out of the van. And honestly, your sensation is like they are walking way too confidently into this situation. They should not be walking this confidently into this situation. But then what you see is each of them react to half a dozen throwing knives slamming themselves into the parking lot at their feet. And they all like jump back and draw their weapons and start to like draw and fight back and evade what's going on here. Theo, you, with your sort of third eye sight and your second eye sight, look at this bell that you have, and you can see it not just for what it is, but for what it means and what it represents and who loves it more than anything. And you know with deep precision where that person / painted crow is. And then you like see that, and you can feel and sense Mark's Skynet kind of connection telepathic connection link all of you such that you can all see the direction that this points, and Mark's flame eyes kind of grow and billow to shine out in odd directions from behind his sunglasses. And you all kind of look at each other and you all nod. And in my head, in the TV show version, you all join hands and then you all vanish. And then the four of you in a circle find yourselves in a brightly candlelit church basement. And you kind of look up and look around and you can see the main person that you can see is wearing like a jacket that's sort of cut off about the midriff, and it is covered in like pale gray feathers, like a fuzzy furry jacket, but instead of fur, it's feathers. And she has really close cropped hair that's also the same kind of feathery gray. And she's doing something and seems to be doing some kind of a spell towards a kind of circular hole in reality, through which it looks like a giant bird is being shoved. And then there are two other people at her side. One of them seems to be sort of helping out with the spell and has like very pale skin and like ice blue hair. And the other one, she looks like she's about a 14-year-old girl, but she has a hammer, the hammer of which is the size of like a gaming chair.
Harley Quinn shit.
Like 1.5 times her whole body mass. And she looks real impatient and is like kind of looking around, like maybe tapping her pants to see like, should I check my phone? None of the three of them seem to have noticed you though. What do you do?
Well, I feel like as Theo, I would want to use force of will to dispel the spell that the pigeon and ice girl are doing.
Sorry, do they have visible like weapons that they're wielding?
So not wielding. So the hammer girl has the hammer, and she's definitely like brandishing it and not leaving it to one side. I think the woman who you recognize as the pigeon, who has the feather jacket, she has a pair of gnarly looking machetes dangling from the back of her belt, but she doesn't have them in her hands currently. And the other one with the ice blue hair appears to have no weapons at all. Theo, what did you roll?
I rolled a 12.
Tell me what that means.
On a hit, momentary magics are canceled completely, and long-lasting spells and effects are suspended temporarily. On a 10 plus, I can also use a luck point to instantly snuff out a powerful spell or strange effect.
So here's what I can tell you.
Do we get any bonus luck points for this one shot?
1.
Oh, we got 1.
But I'm gonna make it ambivalent, because if you spend a luck point, if you do the only luck point you can, I will say good news, better news. So the good news is you will end the thing that they are doing. But if you spend the luck point, you will decide where he ends up. Does that make sense? The where he is sort of in an in-between place, and you can make him snap to be in just one place. But if you would like to spend the luck point that you have, it'll be up to you where he ends up. Otherwise, it's up to me.
I want to use a luck point.
Where does he end up?
Can I put him back at the Clockwork Child?
You can. That's so sweet. So good news, bad news.
But you said good news, better news.
I take it back, because here's the two things that you see. You see the glint of the same, you might not have seen it, but Anna for sure would have, the blue edge fire from where Skaal had been cut out of the mural. You see that start to burn in reverse on Skaal's little crow butt and talons. And he sort of like begins to kind of dissolve from inside. The other place that you see that same blue flame glint is on the machetes that are dangling from the pigeon's belt. And you sort of are putting together that, like, she used those to cut him out. And yeah, he just will dissolve back in, and even Mark, who can sense him in the depths, you can kind of sense his beak sort of reaching and trying to miss somebody. And then you can see his beak just dissolving backwards, and then suddenly he's just not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't sense him there anymore, Mark. And Theo, you can't see him here anymore. And bad news, all three of the people in this room spin around to see you.
Anna's gonna shoot him.
Mark's eyes flame from the side of his glasses.
Anna, roll kick some ass. Mark, roll kick some ass, but with weird. Theo, what are you doing?
Oh, waiting to see what Mark and Anna are doing. I think I'm going to provide like a backup.
10 to kick some ass.
All right. Pick a benefit.
I would like to inflict terrible harm.
Okay. On whomst?
I think I'm gonna target Pigeon.
Okay. Mark.
I'm gonna go after Pigeon too, and I rolled a 9. I'm gonna hurl a big old fireball.
That's perfect. So they turn to spin to look at you. Anna, you fire, I presume, your shotgun, which you get off quite a hit that hits the pigeon in the chest. Mark, you hurl a bolt of fire. The young woman with the ice blue hair fires a stream of ice that doesn't completely stop it, but does put out part of the fire and make it less effective.
A weird question.
Weird answer.
Since Mark is fire and this woman is ice, does that then make water on the ground?
It would make water on the ground. Why do you ask?
Is anybody in the water?
Roll act under pressure.
7.
Perfect. The pigeon is standing in the water, and so are you.
Me?
The ice came up, collided with the fire. It splashed, and it landed, it like came to like crash against your feet, which is honestly what gave you the idea, because then you saw it crash against the pigeon's feet. And she is like scraping buckshot out of her chin and cheek from Anna's shotgun blast, and is like splashing back, and is honestly probably going to come to rest a furious gaze upon Anna, and maybe reach back for, with one hand, the machete, with another hand, some kind of magic something. You're not quite sure what.
Jonny, what would Ramsey be doing?
Especially now that Skaal seems to be shoved out, Ramsey's target would be the hammer girl.
Hammer girl?
So why don't you roll act under pressure on her behalf?
Just a 7 to act under pressure for Ramsey.
Okay, so Ramsey is like grappling with hammer girl.
Is that portal to there still open? Or no, since I did...
It's open.
I'm just going to use a blast of wind to, I guess, push the pigeon in or towards this portal.
Roll use magic.
Can I help?
You sure can, Mark.
I've been rolling 9s all night. I got a 9.
So that makes mine 11.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Here's what happens. So Theo, you create a gale of force that you are using to push the pigeon backwards into this hole, into there that she's ripped open. And it is billowing back her hair. Some of the feathers on her jacket come loose and get sucked into it as though it's a vacuum. You can tell that you are pushing her back kind of close enough, but she's able to push back enough that it just remains a threat that she's going to get pulled back, but you're not going to get her there until Mark jumps in, grabs her by the shoulders, and shoves her back, pushing too much of his body weight in towards it, and his arm gets grabbed by the ambient suction of the space. And he is now where Skaal was, being yanked between here and the depths of the sky. Mark, I want to tell you what you see and feel.
Do I see a helmet nearby?
Oh, yeah.
That is a good question. And where you are now, big no.
Okay.
All you see now is like, you see what you used to see when you viewed there. You see this like cloudy loading screen. You can't tell what's a surface and what's just a space. It's just this sort of dishwater gray. But you know in your like sense of direction that you're in the sky and you should be able to see things. And the only reason you wouldn't be able to see things is because there's nothing to see. This is where things go to die in the sky. And it is a yawning, grasping, sucking space. And it wants you. And your feet are still on Earth in the basement of this church. That's what you see.
Do I have the ability to close this portal like I would the portal to there?
I would make that be a weird roll if you wanted to try to do that.
10.
Can Anna, like, maybe help or, like, protect Mark by, like, helping to kind of pull him back out of the portal?
I think I want both Anna and Theo to roll protect someone.
I rolled a 12 advance move to protect Mark.
What is Theo doing?
Theo, I think, would be using magic against the ice girl.
Okay.
I want to do that instead.
Then I want Theo to roll use magic, and then I want to narrate all of this.
That was a 10. And what I want to do is to do one thing beyond human limitations and create force around my arm and start punching the shit out of this ice girl.
So what happens is the ice girl, seeing Mark's stuck form in the sky, is like, all right, and like shakes out both of her fists that like create these ice claws that she's just like about to start punching you in the butt, Mark. And then Theo comes in, and as she like rears back her left hand, your fist is coated in this like spinning zone of force, and you bring it down on her wrist that not only shatters the ice claw, but also fucking breaks her wrist. And then she spins on you and howls and does the same thing with her other ice claw, and you do the same thing with your other force fist. And you are just pushing her back. And Mark, with your roll, you are 100% certain that you can close this fissure between here and there, but you are not 100% certain that you can be sure which side of it you will end up on. You decide in the moment, because you're who you are, that it's more important that this fissure be sealed than it is important that you know where you are. So you just decide, I'm gonna gather all my power and make sure that this thing gets sealed. And you start to seal it, and you feel a weird pressure on your ankle, and then a big yank as Anna pulls you out, and the fissure seals behind you.
You're almost Winnie the Pooh there. Get out of there.
I don't get it.
Winnie the Pooh gets stuck in a hole in the tree all the
It
time.
was very Winnie the Pooh.
God damn it.
I think the first thing that you can see, Mark, is Theo brass knuckling, just pounding defensive moves against this ice gal. The other thing that you can see is the pigeon screeching, like keening is the word, like reaching out towards the fissure that you just shut, as though that fissure has just killed her. She's so angry and sad and kind of can't seem to collect herself. And then the other thing that you can see is a pretty much preteen girl trying to wrench an enormous hammer away from Ramsey Lincoln. What are you doing?
I have an idea, because the ice girl's still here and I'm fighting her, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't want to kill her, but I want to suck the power from her. So I might use the Eye of Intercourse to do that.
Okay. So physically, what I will allow is, because what you are doing, what you have done with your previous roll, is smash the ice and largely break her wrists, is that you will grab her by her forearms and execute the Eye of Andragoras. Roll it, please. And try to pull all of her magic into your eye.
10.
Okay. Down to the ice blue of her hair. Everything even kind of magical about her is pulled into your eye, such that her hair now just looks limp and lifeless and colorless. Her eyes too, and she even like sort of stumbles back and like thrusts out one of her hands as though another set of ice spikes is going to extend out of them. And when it doesn't and the weight doesn't hit, she like loses her balance and spins pathetically like she's slipping on ice, and like drops to her knees and looks at you and is like, what did you do? And then looks at the pigeon and is like, what did she do? You said it would be easy.
Well, I can't hurt anyone anymore. At least magically.
I would like to do some sort of cool combo move with Ramsey.
Hold on, let me kick some ass for a second.
No, I would like to do some sort of combo move. Because you said Ramsey was sort of like grappling this person with the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of wondering if like maybe Anna could like if Ramsey is like kind of maybe pushing against this thing, like maybe Anna could like tabletop this person with her staff, like kind of just whack the back of her knees so she falls, and then like Ramsey could follow it up with, I don't know, wham, hitting her with something. I don't know.
Roll kick some ass.
10. So I guess in this instance, probably force them where I want them.
I think that makes sense. So here's what you do. Anna, you launch yourself into the melee between Hammer Girl and Ramsey. And all you do, because all you are trying to do is like wrench Hammer Girl's hands off of the hammer, such that Ramsey can get it away and swing it around and pin the pigeon.
Oh, she takes the hammer and then pins
Takes
the
the hammer
with it.
away from Hammer Girl and pins the pigeon with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think this is very perfect. And I'm very pleased because a voice from the stairwell will say, let her go. And down will step Simon Harrington with a handful of throwing knives. And he will look at Ramsey, who has the pigeon pinned, at Anna, who has Hammer Girl pinned, and at Theo and Mark, who have fully disarmed the icicle. And he'll be like, there is nothing worse than feeling like I've missed a chapter. My God, are you literally raising your hand?
Jonny, raising it to you because I don't want to interrupt your monologue and being polite.
And I'm being rude.
Yeah.
Go on. What was the question?
Fuck me. I want to use magic on Simon.
To do what?
I want to trap a specific person, minion, or monster.
Roll it. It's interesting.
Can I bar him from the basement?
Yes. If you hit a 10 or above, you'll bar him from entering and bar him from leaving where he is temporarily. And if you get a 10 or above, he won't know it.
10.
Okay. Simon is coming down with someone else's throwing knives. And he's kind of going to be like, step down into the zone from which you, Theo, have cast that he won't be able to escape from. And goddammit, he doesn't know it because he's distracted anyway, because he's reaching out to the woman in the feathered jacket, and he will reach out with his hand that does not have the throwing knives, and he will say, Patricia. And she'll say, you don't say that name. And she looks at him with wild animal eyes, and she says, you know what you did to me. And he like takes a step back as though he's been slapped in the face, and he's like, all I ever did was try to take care of, all you ever did was try to control me. She let me live. She taught me how to live. And then she died. But isn't it like you always said, Simon, don't we just break the rules. That's all magic is. The trick is to know which rules to break.
Do I see a helmet anywhere?
Roll read a bad situation.
8.
Hanging from the hammer girl's belt, there is a clamshell helmet, the front of which kind of looks like a stunted plague doctor, and the back of which just seems to be feathered.
Can Anna actually use really quick her spirit touch move to see if there's
Sure.
13? And I'm kind of trying to gauge if there's any weak points maybe with her or something that points to something that how we could harm her.
The thing that could harm her the most deeply in this room are the throwing knives that Simon has taken. And I want to make you aware the reason they will harm her so. They were crafted by her son. There was no way this session was going to be anything other than a sad tragedy.
Okay, Mark, what do you want to do?
You know what? The person who's freaking out the most here is going to be Simon, and he's going to be looking wild-eyed at Ramsey. He's seeing the shirt, seeing the pants, and being like, so he sent you? Then why don't you do it? Why don't you bring his power here? Why don't you end this?
Simon, you know what? I think Anna's going to try to maybe strategically walk in front of the pigeon and just be like, get over it, man. Your wife left you. She doesn't even like you anymore. Move on. We all get it. You know, knives, it usually means you got a small penis. It's just get over it. I'm trying to goad him into throwing a knife at me.
Roll manipulate someone.
10?
His eyes are going to go wide and kind of some how dare you energy. And yeah, he'll like rear back and fuck one of these knives at you.
I would like to try to move out of the way and hopefully it hits her instead.
Roll act under pressure.
I will use my luck point if I need to. I don't need to. 14 advanced move.
You step out of the way and definitely in her back because she's definitely still almost praying to the area where this fissure in space was. This thing will slam into her back. And you'll hear Simon just go, oh, and then pull back with his hand. And you can understand that that knife was connected to a thread that he can pull it out. And unfortunately, because of how I know knives work, is the blood will just start bubbling out of her back and she will drop to her knees. And he's going to run to her.
He can't.
He can't.
Even more tragedy.
It's horrible.
He's going to take 2 steps towards her and then smash into an invisible barrier and scratch against it and be like, I think, oh, I could make this tragic, but I choose not to because fuck him. His vibe is the following. It is a child who's been separated from his favorite toy.
Yeah, he's possessive as fuck. And
He's scratching against the air and just going, ah, rah, 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 rah. And it is like very pathetic.
yikes.
I honestly almost am like Ramsey, who's wrestling with the Hammer Girl, kind of maybe are like, we're not really against each other anymore, right? Like, Hammer Girl works for the pigeon who's
Bleeding out.
and Ramsey doesn't give a fuck about Simon. So they're kind of like hands up, stepping back from each other. And I think that Ramsey's going to step up to the edge of the barrier of where Simon is scraping against. And she's going to say, I want you to tell me what this feels like. And then Simon's going to look at her like, why would you say this to me? Like, feeling almost insulted. And then Ramsey's going to go, because I want to know how close you get. I want to know if you know what it felt like for us. And then he's going to like lean in to the very edge and be like, and I will be grading you on this test. And I think, given everything that there is and everything that's happened so far, but he will look at the hammer girl, he will look at the broken icicle, and he will look at all of you guys, and Ramsey will say, you don't have to be here for what comes next.
Anna is just like, kind of looks around and is like, I don't have anywhere else to go.
She'll look to Theo.
Theo will go over to Mark. Maybe we should wait outside.
She'll look at Mark.
I think Mark nods and walks out with you, Theo. We start walking and then teleport.
Okay, and Theo will drop the barrier before they leave.
The two of you wind up right in front of the van. Anna, what are you hoping for?
I just want to be here for
You just want to be here?
Ramsey. Yeah.
In my head, it's bad. Ramsey recognizes that Theo has dropped the force field before Simon does and takes the opportunity to just start hitting. And I want you to be uncomfortable by how hard and how mean Ramsey is being, to the point that it is deeply pathetic to see Simon like this. I know you don't like him. You are not supposed to. But this is more humiliating and painful than a person should experience. And she's so mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's honestly probably flickering in and out of looking recognizable.
I think at a certain point, after Ramsey has gotten in some hits, Anna will sort of step up and kind of just put her hand on her shoulder. He's had enough.
Mm-hmm. In the seconds before you put a hand on her shoulder, she's sort of running out of steam. But she does say, it'll never be enough.
I know.
But then she'll reach back a hand to put on your shoulder and lift herself up. And then she's gonna look at you and be like, I can't believe I combed my hair for this fucker.
Yeah, I don't know why you did that. Alright, let's get out of here. Anna's gonna go back with Ramsey to the van and say to them, can we make one quick pit stop maybe before we go back to Clockwork Child?
What do you mean?
I want to go back to his house and I want to find Skaal's totem.
I want to take the string painting thing.
I love this. I love that very much.
Yeah, I want to get that. And what I'm hoping is kind of maybe like a final scene is to break those totems if Ramsey wants to.
Oh, I love this so much. Okay. So you step out. The fissure between here and there is well and truly closed. Skaal has been sent back, and you can recognize even as you approach, you can see this sort of blue flame sparking up from the rear, the alley behind the Clockwork Child. And you go by Simon's home, and Theo, you grab the strings. This will take some time to sort of decipher, but you'll take it so that he doesn't have it anymore. And then I like the idea of Anna goes to one side, Mark goes to the other of this sort of console that was this sort of dresser that has all these different totems in it. And you just pick it up and you're moving apartments, drag it out, and throw it into the back of the van, in which there is plenty of space. And then as you are sort of sliding it in, Mark, I think you sort of recognize a presence over your shoulder, and it's Ro, and she's annoyed. She's looking at this console and seeing all these things and being like, this is our magic. This is end of life, sky burial, magic. Mark, we can't allow this offense to exist. Everything that's being held by this damned collection, I think we should set him free. Don't you? And then you guys drive back to the Clockwork Child, where again, as I mentioned, you can see the blue flames. And I think also, because he isn't truly imprisoned by that mural, as you approach, I think it's going to be approaching nightfall, approaching sunset, and silhouetted against the sunset. In the skies, you can see the painted crow, your friend Skaal, flying free, searching for whatever he decides is interesting to find. And I think Ramsey Lincoln will say, you are still on the closing shift, Anna Ashwood.
Yeah.
Executive producer Jonny Grubb. This has been The Monsters Playbook, featuring
John Wander as Mark Clayton.
Lauren Johnson as Anna and Kira Ashwood.
Maya Detchen-Wander as Theo Nessos.
and Jonny Grubb as literally everybody else. Our theme song is by me, Jonny Grubb. The Monsters Playbook is produced and engineered by Maya Detchen-Wander and edited by Maya Detchen-Wander and Lauren Johnson. If you liked this episode, please tell a friend. We love friends. You can find the Monsters Playbook on the social network of your choice. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and now on Blue Sky. You can also hang out with us on Discord, and if you like what we're doing, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We'll see you next episode where, as always, I'll have some good news and some bad news. Thanks for listening.
What is Linky Ramsey?
No! Spray you with cold water.
Oh,
Linky!
Done.
Dead.
Oh, God damn it, my